Hey guys, Nick here, and I want to provide for you a quick tips by Nick. As you know, there are so many things that we encounter as entrepreneurs that can cost us time, energy, and endless distractions. When you are at a point in your business where you have such a long to-do list that it overwhelms you and you feel like you're constantly spinning your wheels with getting things done, and you're trying to find a way to make things happen and feel like you're making progress, here's the tip for you today. You need to learn how to focus on just one thing per week. And when I say one thing, that may be one project. So for example, what I did this week is I had one key thing that I wanted to have completed this week. And that was all of the correspondence and content completed for my podcast launch. So that entailed all the correspondence that I needed to have for the guests that I wanted to bring out. And that meant all the content that I needed for my website. And there was content for something else that I needed. Oh, like the kind of questions that I wanted to ask, the interview flow, and things like that. So my focus this week was just the podcast. I didn't focus on anything else. Despite the fact that I got podcasts going, I have a video show that I'm launching, I have rebranding that I'm doing, I have a website launch that's happening, I have products that I need to work on. I have like an endless list of stuff that needs to get done. But what I've noticed is that when you tend to have a million different things on your table and you try to do a little bit for each category, what happens is it takes forever to get things done and you end up with a bunch of unfinished projects. And it seems like you're not making any progress. So despite the fact that I probably have like 10 big deals going on right now, I X'd out 9 of them this week, focused on only one, because I knew if I can get this one thing done for this podcast this week, that's off the table. It's done. So now I have checklists, I have systems and routine in place. And all I have to do is I have 2 days out the week where I'm actually recording my podcast and guests and stuff, but I'm putting the team on the systems to handle all the admin and the correspondence. And I'm also, delegating those roles out so I can focus on just doing recordings. But moving forward, all the foundational things are done to make my life easier. So with the goal of this week being that all correspondence for my podcast, what I did was every single day, I had one thing that I was going to focus on towards that project of the correspondence. So let's just say I went on ahead and I knew what correspondence needed to be done. So I had interview flow, questions to ask, the emails for guests, and the content for my page. So I wrote all that stuff down and I made it where every day I would focus on one key thing that needed to be done for that day. So like today is Friday. I put them on my calendar. So I put a calendar back there and I have these little stickies. My kids have been messing with them. I got them in different colors, right? So for different things. So the yellow ones are, these are the focus sheets. So the focus here, if you can see it, it says one thing. And today's focus was finished content for the website. You see that? So today what I did is I worked with the developer and we got together for the content of the website, for the opt-in, for the interview flow that I need to put on for the guests, and whatever other correspondence that was associated with the website, right? So that was today. Yesterday was finished correspondence for the podcast. That was, and you see here, I have here my one thing. Can you see that? So this was the correspondence for the guests, the emails and stuff like that. So yesterday was a day full of endless appointments. I had doctor appointments after doctor appointment after doctor appointment. I booked everything. It's called batching. And our insurance just kicked in May 1st. So I had booked all of the doctor's appointments for myself and the kids all in one day. So I went from one doctor's office to the next. So by the time I was done, it was probably about 3 o'clock. So I had my laptop and stuff with me. I ran to a Starbucks and I sat there and I said, I'm going to finish these correspondence sheets. I'm going to finish the interview and flow. I'm going to get that knocked out. And literally I did it in 2 hours. That was my one thing for the day, but it was done. It was completed. It only took me about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to get it done. So you'll realize if you have this focus when you are pursuing to get things accomplished, you can knock them out in a short amount of time because you're totally focused towards it, right? And then you feel like you've accomplished something because you're scratching the key things off your list. So today is Friday. It's Friday afternoon. As I'm wrapping this week up, it's very few things that are lingering into next week associated with this podcast, right? There's a few more things I got to wrap up, which I'll probably try to do this weekend. But when I go into next week, it's focusing on a totally different project and giving it my undivided attention. So the key for you to be more productive in your time is to find the one project you want to focus on. If you have other projects and things that come up, what you want to do is go ahead and put notes. Like I have a folder here. This is a folder and it has like 5 different categories, okay? And what I do is each one is projects that I'm working on. So if I have ideas and stuff that come up for these other projects, I go there and I'll put notes there, but I'm not going to give that any attention right now. It's just if there's an idea or something pops in my head that's catered to that project, I'll go and note it, but I have a certain week that I'm going to expel that energy to for that project. And that's just because there's a lot of redevelopment. I'm pretty much rebranding, reinventing myself in business. And so there's a lot of irons on the fire at one time, but because I've learned that it's very unproductive to try to do multiple things at one time, I had to learn the hard way with a bunch of incomplete projects to focus on one thing. Thanks to the book. I don't think my book is here. It's on my nightstand in my bedroom, but it's called The One Thing. I had to focus on doing that one thing, one project per week, and one key piece of that project per day. That will allow me to get things done. Now, so what you want to do is make a list of, put the project on paper, right? What is it that you need to get done? And then go ahead and identify the key things up underneath that project that are required to get it done. Then as you have those key things, those milestones that need to get done, you just designate one day to focus on one of those milestones. And if you knock that out in record-breaking time, you have more time, then you can move on to the next one. But when you do that, guys, like I said, you'll feel so accomplished. So that's my quick tip by Nick for today. May not have been so quick, but you needed all the details. So if you want to connect with me, come on over to NicoleSCooperFanpage.com or visit my website, NicoleSCooper.com, which will be launching very soon. I have all the stuff on the calendar for May and June. But you can come on over to NicoleSCooperFanpage.com and connect, or NicoleSCooper.com. And I look forward to chatting with you more, and stay tuned for the podcast launch. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. Have an awesome and productive weekend. If you're catching this on the Friday or the beginning of the week, have a great week. And remember, focus on your one thing. Pick up the book, The One Thing by Jay Papasan. Changed my life. And I'll talk to you soon. All right, guys. Bye-bye.